Well, we almost made it, John. It was there. It was working.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not adjust your television set.
It is us. I thought we had it, but we didn't, so I'm not going to bore you with it. So welcome, Joel Holland, and glad to have you back from Harvest Host.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to catch up with you guys on RVing.
Well, here goes to Peter with his timeout. It only takes him about 10 seconds to take the first time out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. Direct from the state of Michigan, Rick Kessler is with us on time.
He is?
That is...
I don't see him.
He's there. Rick Kessler says hello.
Oh, he is there.
He's there.
All right. Hello, Rick Kessler.
Anyway.
You know Rick, don't you, Joel? You know him?
From RV Business.
RV Business?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
And Woodall's Campground Management?
Yes,
yep.
yes.
Yeah.
And I appreciated them publishing the interview or the article about today's show.
That's right.
Yep.
And
great guys.
The inside story on Rick Kessler is he generally shows up 50 minutes into the show, 50 minutes into the show.
No, give him a break. 20 to 40.
And then he's got the University of Michigan helmet on his logo, right, which is pretty interesting.
It depends on what he's cooking on the grill. So what do we have here tonight? This is a popular show. One sec, we got Frank on, and Frank's a regular. Have you got your Airstream yet, Frank? I think, wasn't he due to get the Airstream pretty soon? Riney Layberger from Bradford RV is here. Michelle Fontaine from Rolling On TV says hello.
Hey, Michelle.
Yeah, Walter Swenson, we talked to you about before that. You see the rooster.
Walter saw the rooster. That's all I saw. That's Rainey's cockadoodle, too.
Yeah.
All the pictures, it has to freeze frame on the damn rooster.
Right.
And what is this chicken stuff here?
Jerry Plant from Cape Cod, Major's RV. And Walter, again, sound is working. Okay, well, if we get the video. Maine Good Sam, Diane and Martin Quayle, they were the former. You gotta get rid of that Good Sam logo up there, Martin. They used to be the state directors in Maine, but they don't have state directors anymore. He says he's a smart ass. He says the Red Sox are undefeated. No, it's the other way around. The Red Sox are undefeated, and the Yankees haven't won a game yet.
And the New England Patriots moved to Tampa.
Let me just finish these, John. Stel Drew is on from New Hampshire. Dwayne Cyrus joined. Stand up, John. Audrey Egan. Can you read that? This is an original quote from John Hanson, who founded Winnebago, and we talked to Dwayne out at the national dealer meeting, and he sent me a picture of it, and now they've made up T-shirts. No, stand up. I was going to read it, unless you can read it.
It's in 3D when it's on my stomach.
Yeah, you can't take sex, booze, and weekends away from the American people. Right.
Winnebago.
So thank you, Dwayne. I've got mine too, but unlike John, I wanted to look like a professional tonight and dress for the occasion. But that's okay.
Hey, I'm just prepping Dwayne for more swag.
Okay. Audrey's on. She's been researching Harvard host places for us to hit this season. Frank says, yes, I left a message about that very thing yesterday. Relates to the Mass RMB.
Zagami.
Yes, John.
We're 6 minutes into the show. We haven't introduced our guest yet.
I did.
We assume that everybody knows who he is.
Everybody in the world knows him. Go ahead. You can introduce him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. Our special guest tonight is our friend all the way from Holland, Joel Holland from Harvest Host.
That was weird.
Oh, my dyslexic. Yeah. Oh, Joel Holland from Harvest Host.
I do love Holland, though. It's a beautiful place.
It is. And there's a Holland in Michigan, too, as well, from what I understand. And they make a lot of tulips and daffodils and other stuff there. But Harvest Host is probably one of the more unique ways that RVers can enjoy their time away from home, with either a night or two, but generally a night stay at a farm, a winery, or a country club. And We've had the opportunity to stay at several of them throughout the United States. We've always had a great time, and it's always good when Joel comes back, because tonight we're going to offer all of our viewers a special discount. And I know we'll get into that a little bit later.
We're only going to do it at the 60th minute mark, just before we sign off. So if they don't stay with us all night, we won't do it.
Yeah. They'll have to spend all the money.
Look at Kessler.
Like retail.
Look at Kessler. Yes, sir. Holland, Michigan. It's home of the Tulip Festival. That's what you ought to do, Joel. You ought to take that lovely your new Grand Design fifth wheel.
That's right.
And then you can tell the story. But you ought to take that up to the Tulip Festival and sit it right next to us. Tell us about that, because this is a different rig than you had before. So you hadn't been planning on buying a new one. So why don't you tell them what happened?
Yeah. Sometimes life makes decisions for you, I guess. So before this one, my wife and I were in a 2014 Reflection by Grand Design. So it was one of the first units that Grand Design had made, and we loved it. I mean, we had that thing for 6 years. No problems. I just state of the art, great quality. And it was interesting because my wife was like, "Hey, I'm ready for the next one." But I was kind of in the camp of, there's nothing wrong with this one. Why should we buy something new when this one's perfectly fine? And I wasn't sure how to make that decision of when you buy a new RV. Lo and behold, I was cut off by a trucker on the highway and ran the old one into concrete pilings. And so it just ripped the whole side of it off and totaled it. And that made the decision for us. And so we went back to Grand Design. Honestly, we kept an open mind. We looked at a bunch of units. We love Grand Design. And the Solitude was a nice step up for us. A little heavier, only a little longer, a little taller, but the finishings, as you know, they're wonderful. So we love it. And then we wrapped it.
So this is a Solitude. I thought you got another Reflection. So
no, this is the 310 GK.
Oh, okay. I sent a personal invitation to Don Clark, the CEO, and Tommy Hall, their marketing manager, to tune in tonight so that they could see their unit on there. Tommy, if you're on, Tommy used to be our Northeast rep for New England. Great guy, and now he's in charge of their marketing. Michelle,
Tommy's off the road?
Huh?
Tommy's off.
Yeah, he's the.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's the director of marketing now. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yep. Well.
Yeah, so congratulations, Tommy. If you're on, feel free to jump in and ask a question. So what's been happening at Harvard? Boy, these things are coming fast and furious. Michelle says no solar panels on it yet.
No,
no. She's saying on hers, she's got actually she has a new Grand Design too, but she hasn't got solar panels yet. You can do Harvest. Well, you can get a generator and do Harvest Host, Michelle.
Yeah, but can I tell her a secret? Can I just between
you and her? Don't let anybody else hear it.
Just between us and the thousands of people that are watching. At three or four Harvest Host places that I've stayed at, where there was power, I politely asked, "Can I plug in?" And they said, "Fine." Now I got a 24-footer. It's not a 43-foot diesel pusher Prevost conversion. And within reason, these folks all allowed us to. So don't, Michelle, feel as though you have to have solar unless you're going to be using hair dryers and equipment and all that other stuff.
That's a good point, John. Joel, why don't you go into the expectations of those people who join Harvest Host and then go out and, of course, host. When you stay at a host location, it's free. But why don't you tell us the expectations that you want the RVers to partake in when they're enjoying the host facility?
Adhere to, Bob, is a better word.
Adhere to? Okay.
Yeah.
Is the alcohol at the winery.
Yeah, partake in the alcohol, adhere to the rules. So there aren't too many rules at all. I mean, really, it's a very simple program. We have now over 1,000 farms, wineries, breweries, distilleries, museums, and we also have 300 and I think almost 50 golf courses. So all in, we're at over 1,400 locations. It's a one annual membership fee, $79, gets you unlimited access to those 1,000 plus wineries, breweries, distilleries, etc. it's a $20 upgrade to get the golf courses. And that's because we had purchased RV Golf Club and put the two together. And that's kind of our way of paying for that company. So it is, there's never a charge to stay at any of the hosts, but there is kind of a social contract. You know, the reason a winery is so friendly to allow our members to stay is they expect that you'll go and support the business, buy a bottle of wine, do a wine tasting, buy some produce. So what we kind of say is just take a percentage of what you would have spent at the campground, whatever you're comfortable with, just take a percentage of that and support the local business. Benefit is you also walk away with some delicious treats. So it's kind of like everybody wins, which
you know what? And not only are they delicious treats and fresh treats, but they're going to be different at each stop. So it's not like, you're driving down I-95 and you're going to stop at Waffle House one day and Subway the next day. They've got some really local stuff that my wife found certain wine blends out in New York that was different than the next night in Ohio.
Yep.
And then we stayed at the next night at a museum, at the Buffalo Bill Museum, right directly, smack dab directly on the Mississippi River.
Cool.
And
I'll have to talk to the folks at Jack Daniels and get you on the Jack Daniels tour also. And you know what I got for you? I don't know if you can see it. This was just in one of our local papers. This is 15 top prospects for you, top tourist attractions in, I think this is the Worcester area, Boston area alone. So I got 15 more prospects for you. So how do people recommend? Because we got one recommendation, Mike Stern's on tonight. He says the Dakota Territory Air Museum in Minot, North Dakota is at an airport. Is that one of your current hosts, or is he, Michael, are you suggesting that as a place for Joel to get in touch with? Don Polk is on again tonight. Hello, Don. So can you address that, Joel?
Yeah, what was as far as recommending, so I will say the vast majority of so we're currently adding up to 2 new hosts every single day. So each month, if you get our member newsletter, you'll see around 50 to 70 new hosts. A lot of those are from recommendations of members. And so we actually have a form on the website where you can submit a host recommendation. And we have a team of 3 people who will reach out, kind of start a dialogue, and try to recruit them into the program. And, it's not a hard sell. Basically, we say, hey, do you have room for RVers to park on your property? I think that's the biggest hurdle, right? Some people don't have room, but if they do have room, we say, would you allow them to spend one night? They don't need any hookups. It's boondocking. And in return, you'll get a new customer. And that's, I think that's a pretty good value proposition. A lot of our hosts, like Boothbay Craft Brewery in Boothbay, Maine,
yep.
They've been in the program for years.
Yeah.
And they're wonderful. I think they're getting hundreds of nights a year from Harvest Host members now, hundreds. And that's great for the business. And we've run the math, and our members are spending millions of dollars a year directly with these Harvest Host locations. And I think that's exciting, but especially at a time like now where small businesses are hurting.
Yeah.
Once we're able to get back on the road, I think this program should hopefully be great for everybody.
Right. And the thing that I've personally found with the winery owners is that they're friendly people. And it's not corporate. I mean, there's really no corporate places that we've gone in. But they kind of make you feel welcome. And as soon as you call them and say Harvest, oh yeah, come on down. We got room tonight. Or they'll yell across the hall, hey, do we have room tonight? And they'll say, come on down. And we've even had some people, I think we stayed on a Sunday night going into a Monday, or Monday going into a Tuesday. And it was a day that they were normally closed. And they lived next door on the property and came over and gave my wife and I a wine tasting, a private wine tasting, which was pretty cool.
Maria Galante Moore says, we joined a few months ago, but have not stayed at a location yet. Well, Maria, shame on you, because there's locations everywhere. So even if you're still down in Florida, you could have taken, just gone down the road and tried it out. Kessler says he should have used Harvest Host when I did a winery tour last summer. been a much safer saunter to the camper. We had a designated driver. Well, all right, we won't get into that, Rick, to see how you're doing. Walter Swenson mentioned, we just got this news today. Winnebago did cancel their Grand National Rally for this year, which is understandable given the conditions on that, because that was going to be in July, and it's still kind of early to see where the country's going to be in July. Dave Ramos, Jack Daniels, yes, I would toast to that, Dave, but we will. I have to get. I wonder why I haven't got Jack Daniels on there yet.
Jerry was the one. That's why Michael Stern mentioned that airport, that museum in Minot, North Dakota. Jerry had posted, wondering if Joel has checked into adding small airports to the program.
We've got a couple.
We do. Yeah, we do have a couple. We actually have a number of outdoor air museums.
Yeah,
and those are really fun. I mean, they're just some really cool outdoor air museums. But I'm looking. Looks like we've got. I'm doing a little search, but it's a good question. Small airports. I wonder how would they benefit from our members? I guess that'd be the question. Now, if they had,
we have one here, and I'll put it on a note when I send it to you. But we have Stowe Minuteman Airport in Stowe, Mass. That's the next town over from me. They have one of the best cafes in the state, Nancy's Breakfast Cafe. People fly in from all over the country just to have breakfast. So they fly in, get off the plane, go in and have breakfast. So vice versa, an RV could go up there and spend the night and then have breakfast before they head out in the morning. There's another one down at the Norwood, Mass Airport. They got, I think it's a 3 or 4 star restaurant down there. So some of these small ones do. But then you've got the U.S. Air Force Museum out in Dayton. I don't know if they'd allow it because it's government property, but that's my favorite museum in the world. And I think you have Griffiths Air Force Base in Indiana.
No, Griffiths is in Rome, New York.
Oh, what am I thinking of? There's a museum going from Indy up to Elkhart. There is an outdoor air museum, but there is one there. Yeah.
Hey, the way it's going right now, you might be able to get a spot at JFK or Newark. And, we're joking. We don't
want to get to that point.
Right. When Bob and I were flying back from Palm Springs, we had to stop at LAX to change planes, and there was no traffic. And even did we go out and we switched? I think it's Chicago.
We switched, and there was no traffic. It was just hitting. That was
February 10th.
That was right. And the next day was when everything hit the fan. But we saw the inklings of what was coming because we didn't have any of it in Palm Springs. But coming home, LAX, I'd never seen it with so few people, and Chicago was like a ghost town. Frank says Beverly Airport, Beverly, Mass, small airport.
Sightseeing rides.
Off Route 128. Okay.
Yep.
And Jerry
Beverly Airport is where the Boston TV stations keep their helicopters.
Yep.
There are 2 or 3 of them that do that, and they're the ones that stay up there. So Thousand Islands Winery in New York, we enjoyed wine tasting, antipasto plate, and a very pleasant night by the vineyard.
Ooh, that one sounds good. Who put that one up there?
Michael Stern. Michael, is Michael a first timer? Have you seen Michael before?
I think Michael's been on before.
Michael, tell us where you're from.
That one sounds good. Thousand Island. There's a bunch up there in the. Well, I don't say a bunch, but there's 5 or 6 up there in the Finger Lakes. There's one brewery.
There's a whole cluster.
Yeah. There's one brewery and several of the wineries. But I like that idea with the antipasto plate.
Yeah. So Joel, we have discussed current business situations with virtually every aspect of the RVing community, and the service places are doing well. The salespeople are in a different situation because the dealerships have to close. How has interest in Harvest Host memberships gone in the last month since we've been in this dilemma?
Yeah, it's interesting because it starts out depressing and then it gets hopeful. So the first 2 weeks of March, before this all really hit, or before it was becoming real and shutdowns were happening, they were the best. It was the best 2 months in our history of as a company. Interest was skyrocketing, new memberships were skyrocketing, web traffic, everything. Everybody seemed like they were ready to get on the road and go travel. The second week of March came around, the bans started coming into place, and we saw our business tank by 80% in a matter of like 3 days.
In mid-March.
Yep, literally the going to the third week of March, down 80%, and it stayed down 80% for about a month. You're not just dead. No, and it makes sense. Like no one was really signing up for new memberships, not knowing what was happening. And then for some reason, in the last 5 days, memberships have increased again, not to where they were, but they're up. And web traffic, our website traffic is up 50% over the last 5 days. And that's people coming and reading our blog posts. We have a ton of content around RV renovation, about travel itineraries. So I'm taking that as a hopeful sign that things are starting to change. And I think it's because states are starting to explore reopening. I'm out in Colorado. We're exploring reopening in the next few days. I don't know what that means exactly, but I think people are getting hopeful.
Well, we talked about that before the show briefly. As we get people back on the road and they start to look for the campgrounds, because it's going to be, like you say, it's going to be a slow opening all the way around. But I would think that Harvest Host is a great thing to have in your back pocket when you're traveling from one state to the other or one campground to another that may require an overnight stay, because as we look at the new normal of what we're going to have, I don't think there's a lot of people that are going to want to stay at a Walmart parking lot or a roadside rest area. I mean, there are people that do and they like it, and that's fine. We're not saying anything bad about Walmart, but having the ability, just look down the right-hand side there with the teardrop at one of your host locations, given the choice of having that to go to bed with, or
the garden shop,
or the what?
Or the garden shop.
Yeah, and but versus the Walmart or the 22 18-wheelers sitting next to you.
Yeah.
Do you get those kinds of questions from people when they call up and ask about the membership and stuff?
Yes. Yeah, so right now, the stance we've taken, which is compatible with, I think, the rest of our industry and the government, is like, we're not encouraging unnecessary travel right now. I mean, I think it's really important for public safety that we listen to the directives and follow the orders, because they're there for a reason.
Yep.
But we're also really excited for things to reopen. And I think RVers in particular they're fortunate, because I don't think people are going to be rushing back to airplanes, but I do think that we're going to be jumping in our RVs and traveling as soon as we can. And I speak from personal experience, because
why do you say that, Joel? Why? Yeah. What makes you say that? Is it because you're more in control of the environment?
Yes. I think that's exactly what it is. I know that my RV is clean. I know that there's no one else in it. And I know that I can go where I feel safe. And so as soon as our governor says that our state's open, the same day I'm going to go get my fifth wheel out of storage and drive somewhere and go camp. And I can't wait. And as far as Harvest Hosts, what we've been saying is it's every state's different. A lot of our hosts are still open. Some of them are reopening, some are closed. So you always call ahead to kind of make sure you know what the situation is. But they're all hurting for business, right? These are wonderful small businesses that need our help. And so we have an ad campaign that comes out as soon as it's safe that essentially says, hey, Harvest Hosts, they're safe, they're scenic, and they're supportive of local businesses. And I think that's a pretty good little trifecta.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it is. Joel, let me ask you this question. And Rick asked a question over there. Bob, I don't know if you want to go over and read some of those, think of some of those questions.
No, good. Ask Joel a couple more. We'll get caught up with them. Yeah.
I have a very intelligent question.
Who said so?
So, Joel, it's just me and you. Forget Zagami there. He's started on the Jack Daniels at noontime when we had a conference call with RVIA. But, we had a scenario about 3 weeks ago when they were closing campgrounds in the middle of the day, and people were in the middle of their paid trip, and they were told they had to leave. We even did a video which we tried to play on this show, but we didn't. So I'll tell you what happened is, person was there for 3 weeks, and they told him at 11 in the morning that he had to be out by noon. Now, he had been there 3 weeks. He was, had awnings out and solar out, et cetera, et cetera. So he was able to buy another day to stay there. Did you have any situations where you're aware of where during that time around the 15th, the 20th of March, when everything was happening quickly, where your hosts had to throw people out?
No, actually the opposite. We have all these wonderful stories of people who were thrown out of campgrounds and they relied on our hosts to get home. And so Florida, as an example, we had multiple members who were in Florida, got kicked out of the campgrounds and had to get all the way back to the West Coast. And they were able to use Harvest Host locations all the way, like 4 or 5 of them. And again, this is not them. This is not leisure travel. They weren't doing this because they wanted to. They had to. And so, they called the host and they said, hey, we're traveling through. We don't have a lot of choice. And our hosts were awesome. I mean, they took them in. They said, of course you can stay. We had some of our winery hosts that were still allowed to sell alcohol safely, right? So our members could go park on the property, never speak in person to anybody. They were able to order the wine by calling or online, and they dropped the wine bottles off by the RV door. So 0 human interaction, and they were able to stay somewhere safely and support the business and get home. So that made me really happy. We got so many of those stories. And we haven't been republishing them because, again, I don't want to make the mistake of looking like we're encouraging travel. But I think in those emergency situations, the Harvest Host Network it was wonderful.
Okay. And we should say that was not a setup question. That's not like, okay, at 8:30, at 7:30, I'm going to ask you this question. So know the answer for it right now. We didn't set this up. And Bob will tells all of our guests as well as our audience that we don't even talk until like 10 minutes before the show when we check out our technology, which sometimes that doesn't work either. But, I'm happy to hear that because the worst thing in the world is to have people stuck on the side of the highway. And some are crazy enough to pull on, not even get off the highway, but just to stay in a little off the berm. And that's suicide.
Why don't you do your commercial and I'll see what we got over here for comments.
Okay. Great. Okay, so you can check those out while I say thank you to our live audience for taking time from their busy night. Well, the fact is we're going to have to change that script because they really have nothing else to do on a Wednesday night except to watch this show. So thank you anyway. I know you're going to wait for the Mork and Mindy reruns until 8 o'clock and watch them on TV Land or something. But we do want to thank you for spending time with us, and thank you all for sharing the show by hitting the share button, which is somewhere on your computer if you're watching on Facebook Live, and share it with people that are getting into RVing. And I'll tell you, folks, I got a phone call last night from a couple that we've known for 15 years, and they said, you know what, I think it's time to buy an RV. Because my wife doesn't want to go fly anymore and she doesn't want to stay in hotels. So you're going to find more and more people doing that. So tell them about how much fun RVing is, and we'd appreciate it. And then we'll get a lot more people to watch the show that way.
Yep. And one of the things that is interesting, because we got, I lost my train of thought there. Anyways, we got Michael Stearns in Newtown, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Shirley's on from Ohio. Marie says there are some awesome vineyards in that area. We camp up there a lot. She means Ohio. Ohio's a great state. Clayton Distillery, Audrey recommends that. Todd Emerson from Longview RV is on. Can dealers participate? We got 3 dealers on here tonight, which is good because we get
Chris.
We get the best of the dealers.
Chris, Todd, Rainey. Yeah, right? Chris, Todd, Rainey.
Yeah, but I'm running a scroll down the bottom there, and I'll give you that early. But if you join Harvest Host, use the code word NERVDA, 15% off of your membership. And we do get a small fee on that. It's an affiliate program. We put a little money into the NERVDA account, but but you get the discount, and then he gives us a little bit on the other side. So you're still saving a tremendous amount of money. Rick Kessler's got a good question.
Well, no, before you do that, go to Audrey's.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Tiffin people have always recommended Harvest Host. Yeah, they're fantastic. Have you had any luck with any of the manufacturers? A lot of supplier companies, I know Don and Mark Polk tried this once to see if they could get people to put at least a flyer about their educational programs in every new RV that goes out. Have you had any luck with any manufacturers putting a Harvest Host flyer into that package of books that's this thick that nobody ever reads? But have you looked at that at all?
Yeah, oh yeah. So in fact, we work with New Camp. Everyone who buys a New Camp gets a Harvest Host subscription, and so that So because and it was a nice to them. We're selling the subscriptions at cost, very inexpensive, to the dealers like New Camp. We sell them a whole spreadsheet of codes, and then they're able to print them out, put them onto whatever materials they want, and then have their users activate them. We also did something similar with the Toronto RV show last year, where the first 150 buyers at the show got a free Harvest Host subscription. And similar situation, we just charged them for each one that was redeemed, and it's not a lot. It's not a lot of money. It's marginal.
I want to do that for the Boston show next year. But how could we work that? Because we all these shows now are doing a lot more online ticket sales. So how could we do that? I mean, we could do 150 for the first 150 at the box office, and then for the first 150 that go online, we could do something later. Put that in your notebook. I want to do something like that next year. Kessler says, this is a good question. Actually, see, Kessler, if you showed up early more often, you could contribute more to the conversation. So he says, are the hosts able to temporarily suspend their availability?
Yes, totally. I mean, that the hosts have all the control, and we tell them that from the beginning. At any point, they can pause their listing. They can completely pull it down. They're not contractually obligated in any way. We tell them that from the beginning. We only want them to be a part of the program as long as it's benefiting them. And so with COVID, that's why we're telling everyone to call ahead. We've had a number of hosts have told us that they're on hiatus, and we've put that into their listings. But I know that I'm sure there's some who are so caught up in this mess that they just haven't had time to update their listings. So
and the phone's not ringing because nobody's out there, so that helps it. Yeah. Frank Cates and the Mass RMV put a halt to registering any new travel trailer RVs for the time, but I'm hopeful. That's something that hit us here locally. They stopped, so our dealers couldn't even get the plates at the registry for some of the new people. Michael Stern says, any thoughts? And this is a good question. See, we have a very good audience. Michael says, is there any?
We got to get one of those audience members to see if they can run these damn videos that we've been trying to run.
Well, Walter, so we'll have to bring Walter in. He's the engineer. Maybe he'll figure out.
But we've got so many great videos that nobody's seen.
We were so close. We thought we had it tonight. Michael says, any thought to giving a membership term extension or renewal credit to existing members? That's an interesting question.
Yeah. So I would say it's on the honor system. If a member was actually going to try to use their membership during this period and they can't, let us know. And we'd love to extend. I will say we did not apply for any of the Paycheck Protection programs or any of the money. I felt like it was better for other businesses. We've also not let anybody go. So we're struggling right now. I don't think it's going to be forever. So we're not able to do a blanket across the board extension that would put us out of business. But anybody who, feels like they really would have used it, let us know, and we would love to extend the memberships for sure.
That's a commendable policy. Yeah. Audrey says, and we're hurting for we're all hurting for camping. So Audrey, there isn't anybody on here that doesn't want to go camping.
This is normally the week, Audrey, fill me in on this, but normally this, you did have your grandson or daughter recently. But this would be the week that you would have your crew down at Pirate Land, school vacation week. I think we're in the middle of school. Yeah, we're in school vacation week right now.
Yeah.
Audrey, you got to be missing that. You got to be saying to your husband, hey, this time last year we were at this place, and this time we went to that bar down in Murrells Inlet or something like. Well, you probably don't go to bars, Audrey.
No, Audrey doesn't drink. Yeah.
But
so Shirley,
like so with us.
Shirley's got a good point. RVs are clean, but airplanes share everyone's germs. Well, there was a segment on Yahoo Finance this week, and I sent it down to RVIA and RVDA, and it was basically a segment to talk about the cruise ships and the airlines in terms of their financial distress and the impact that they were having. And they had Peter Greenberg on as their guest, and Peter for years has been the travel consultant at NBC, and now he's on CBS. He's one of the big guys in the travel industry. And then completely unsolicited in the middle of the conversation, after they were talking about all the downside of the cruise ships and the airplanes, not to hurt them, but just how the perception of people was going to be when we get back to normal. He said, the thing to do is RVs. He said, RVs are going to explode. People are going to go to RVs because it's going to be a long time before people get comfortable going on an airplane. Even something as popular as hopping on an airplane, going to Orlando and going to Disney World, they're going to think about that. That's something to just say, let's put that off for a year or two until we see how things go. But once this is over, you get out there, and we had one dealer, by the way, last week that sold 13 units in the middle of this thing, 13 units. And people are going to buy units, they're going to rent units. So, all of the campgrounds, Harvest Host, the peer-to-peer networks, I just think it's going to explode. And if anybody on here wants to give us a different opinion of that, fine, but we shall see. Maria, where's Walter? Walter Swenson's in Massachusetts, Maria. I'm not sure if I'm reading your question the right way. Kessler says, can't wait to see Bob and John star in the Odd Couple remake. Well, we hadn't thought of that, Rick, but we'll let you be we can let you be our agent.
Way down there. We're way down there. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. There it is. Kessler, he's hey, we should shout out to Kessler's sister publication, Woodall's.
Woodall's Campground Management. Yeah.
Yep. They had their first campfire. Was it Wednesday, Monday or Tuesday, whatever it was.
Yep. Every Monday for the next 5 weeks on the Woodall's Campground Management Facebook page. Ben Quiggle headed that thing up, did a great job on it. Kessler says new camp is tremendous. Yeah, I'll have to make sure. We get Tim's RV up here in RVing, Mass, one of our Nerve dealers. He's doing fantastic with new camp, so we'll have to make sure he's promoting that along the way. And Maria shared it and do that. Michelle, boom, boom, boom. Okay, Affinity out in Arizona gave Michelle a year's membership from Thousand Trails. So that's Thousand Trails. That's okay. Great park for new owners. You do the same. They do well. Yeah, with new camp, Michelle. You may have missed that up earlier. Run a banner on Google. I don't know. You doing any? I think she means, have you run any banner ads on Google or any of the others? I think that's what she means. But Shirley, what do you think?
We do a lot. So we do a ton of advertising on Facebook, actually. I think I was just checking my books, and we spent $600,000 on Facebook last year. So it's that's where the money goes. But Facebook's great because for RVers, it's just a great social platform for sharing photos and Harvest Host experiences. We've tried with Google, and we've never been able to make it work because Harvest Host is the kind of program that people search for. That they find and they go, that's neat, I want that. They don't search for it. It's like a weird thing to search for in Google.
Yeah, that's kind of why we don't do anything with Nerve out facing. Anything we do facing the public, we do it with RVing in New England, because if somebody wants to go RVing in New England, they're going to find us. But that brings up another interest, though. How about Pinterest? They got so many people on there. Can't you have? And I'm not a big Pinterest guy. Some other people might want to comment on that. But couldn't you have your own Harvest Host page and then have pictures of each of your post on there, and then people might find it because it's a winery or a brewery or something like that?
We do. Yeah. So we do with Pinterest.com/Harvest Hosts.
Okay.
We have a lot of content. It has not been as productive as a channel as we had hoped. We tried advertising there, lost a bit of money doing it. It didn't work from an advertising perspective, but we do love creating content. I mean, one of the things we did last year, people probably noticed, we hired a couple of writers who work for us now and are writing content every week. And our blogs, like if you go, this is crazy to me, but if you Google RV renovation, Harvest Host is the first result. It's one of our blog posts on all these really cool renovations. And we've been sourcing this content, a lot of it from our members. So we do these photo contests throughout the year. And one of the contests was show us your best RV renovation. We then contacted everyone who submitted really cool stuff. Our writer reached out, wrote an entire article on like how they redid a kitchen or turned it, created an office space. So we've invested a lot in content creation over the last year, and it's expensive, but I think it's really paying off because it's that's the sort of thing that people are looking for.
Have you done anything with Janine Pettit and the Girl Camper community?
Yes, we're a sponsor. She's an affiliate.
She's great on that stuff. When she does her,
I
tell you, I sat in on her seminar that she did at the Boston. We brought her in for the Boston show this year, and I was amazed. I mean, every manufacturer should sit in on Janine's seminar on. She calls it Factory to Fabulous, and take a look at what they do to these brand new RVs and make them look so homey. But they would be well served to look at that.
Hey, Joel, let me raise the bar here in the level of questioning for a moment. As you can see, I pretty much carry the show, and Bob kind of, just holds it together. But my question is this, and Walter brought up a good point here. He said, need more campgrounds if there's a lot of growth. Well, prior to this Corona stuff even coming into our vocabulary, there was talk. We were telling people last December and early January to reserve early this year for the camping season, because a lot of people in high demand areas have found that they've got to reserve, a year out. Now, here's what's happened. I guess I'm not an economist and I don't know how to draw a graph, but the curve has been squished. So the months of April and May, the normal business that would happen in April and May hasn't happened. So that business might get squished into June, maybe, or July and August, which would make traditional campground camping even more perilous in getting a spot, which opens up another door. Again, you don't compete with campgrounds, you provide an alternative. So I'm not saying stay with you instead of the campground, but it's probably another reason to look into Harvest Host to avoid being stuck on the interstate.
Right. I mean, the photo you just pulled up there, that's a campground in Hilton Head, South Carolina. I love campgrounds. I mean, when I travel on the road for months at a time with Harvest Hosts, I stay at a host, I stay at a campground. I stay at a host, I stay at a campground. You kind of need to, right? You need the campgrounds.
Did anybody make you cover your banner, your wrap?
Did anybody? No. This is the one place I thought I might get into trouble. We went to the Daytona 500 this year. We posted up in the infield, prominent spot right on the main boulevard. And not only was my RV wrapped, I put blinking purple LED lights all over it. I had a flagpole with a Harvest Host flag with blinking lights on top. I mean, this thing was a beacon. You could literally see it from the grandstands. Like when I was sitting in the grandstand and President Trump's motorcade was driving around, you could still see the RV blinking. It was unbelievable. And so, and they said nothing. It was great.
So did you stay the extra day for the race?
Yeah, I stayed in that infield for 13 days. And it was wonderful. I'd do it again. It was a fantastic time.
Yeah. Right. Walter says he's created a cheat sheet of RV related websites that will be in our rental RV that includes Harvest Host website. That's in his new one that he's going to do on Outdoorsy. You notice, John, he didn't say that it includes Facebook page for NERVDA or Nervda, or your biography and picture, and my biography and picture.
He's sucking up for a free membership.
Huh?
That's what he's trying. Walter's sucking up for a free membership.
Probably.
Yeah.
But that's all right, Walter. We'll remember that. See, we were just going to bring you in as a consultant to teach me how to do these videos. So you can probably kiss that one goodbye. But
yeah, and then Eileen Brown. We don't know her.
Where is she? She's got a comment?
Eileen. Oh, Walter. Do you see Walter? Yeah, Eileen Brown. We love you, and we thank you for being on this show.
But
a Yankee logo, with Zagami being a lifelong Red Sox fan, a Yankee logo is not going to get you much love from the host of this show, Eileen. So
not from the host, but you can bet Todd Emerson will jump all over that. He's a big Yankee guy. Eileen, do you know Todd Emerson at Longview RV? Are you up in Massachusetts or in New England, or are you down there in New York? And I agree with you, Eileen. If they gave me a free ticket to a cruise ship, I wouldn't be on it. Maria says, thank God we have an RV. Audrey says, cruise ships, never doing that. Rick Kessler again. Boy, Kessler, either you had an early dinner tonight or you're so hungry you just can't stop talking. One or the other. Whatever happened to Harvard host partnering golf courses? Now, see, you were 5 minutes late, so you probably missed it. But Joel, go over the golf course because we have a lot of golfers on here. Go over that whole golf course thing.
And so I'm looking at our up-to-date numbers. We currently have 368 golf courses in the Harvest Host network now. At the end of 2018, we purchased the RV Golf Club. And at that time, there was about 300 courses. We put it into Harvest Host, but made it an upgrade, an inexpensive upgrade. It's like a $20 upgrade. And then you can stay at any of these courses.
Hold on, Joel, you don't have to explain this to Kessler. Although do it because he did show up on time tonight.
So here the big misconception with our golf courses that I like to correct. So I'm a golfer, not a very good golfer, but I travel with clubs in my RV, and so I play along the way. But you don't have to be a golfer in order to stay at the vast majority of our courses. So I think like over 300 of our courses, and it says in the descriptions, over 300 of them welcome you in just to enjoy the clubhouse, right? Have a beer on the patio, watching me 5-putt on the 18th hole, or grab yourself a breakfast sandwich. I love eating breakfast before I leave the next morning to go to my next destination because the clubhouses are always open early and they always have tremendous breakfasts.
Yep. Right. And you got to admit the breakfast that you can get at a country club, because they cater to a higher end crowd, are going to be a cut above what you would find at a local restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Joel?
I've loved every single one, so I would definitely agree.
Yep.
I mean, and even if you don't golf,
right,
a great deal, because if you pull in at 5 o'clock at night, you've got a marvelous dining room that usually you're not going to have to wait in line for. And you've got a good area of the city or town or county to be in. And then in the morning, you take a walk, and then you go in and have a great breakfast and get on your way.
And the settings themselves are always really wonderful, right? Golf courses always have these huge parking lots. So there's always, and when you come in the afternoon, most people are gone. So it's easy to maneuver. I always pull up like along a side where it's like me and then grass. So my RV looks out over the golf course. Very scenic. I just love it. I mean, golf courses are wonderful.
Well, even a bad golf course has a good restaurant and a good bar.
Right. They'll deep fry something for you.
The first question that Zagami would ask is that, do you have a bar? And secondly, do you have Jack Daniels? If the answer to either of those is no, then he's gone.
Well, no, see, John, you really don't get it. All I have to do is walk through the door, even if I've never been there before, and somebody says, that's Bob Zagami, get him a Jack Daniels.
Hey, Eileen Brown with the Yankee logo asked, Joel, have you considered a referral program? Well, in fact, if you go to the Harvest Host website, there is a referral program. So, Eileen, you can
why don't you explain that, Joel?
Be part of that as well.
Yeah. So our affiliate program It's reserved for existing members because we want to make sure that people who are promoting the product actually use it and understand it.
That's a good way to do it.
I think so. And then the way it works is we basically, as an affiliate, you can give a 15% discount to your friends, your viewers, your followers. And anytime they accept that discount and sign up, you automatically receive $15. So you give 15%, you make $15. And in our affiliate programs, it's really successful. It's a big part. It's a very big part of our business. And I think that, it speaks to our members, but it speaks, it's just like, this is the type of program where I think affiliate works particularly well.
I think it's important. You don't want to mention names here, but there are affiliates that are raking in thousands of dollars a month.
For sure.
And I think it speaks to the quality of the program and the quality of the host locations, because the many that I've stayed at, I just don't think there are any bad ones. I just think it's a great way to travel as they get down the road here. Frank says, as for museums, Altoona, that's a good one, Frank. Altoona Railroaders Memorial Museum, Altoona, Pennsylvania. Lots of folks like historical antique trains.
I've been there.
John's one of them, Frank.
Yep.
Not sure about the amount of space. But yeah, there's probably there may be more railroad museums than there are aircraft museums with the number of, especially with the hobby. I would imagine some of these hobby groups, John, in railroads, they're pretty big, the groups themselves, right?
Yep, exactly.
I love train. I learned a term recently. It's called rail fans. Yes, rail fans. Yeah, and it's a whole thing. Like and I get it. Like we've all loved trains since we were kids. We brought on a new host, Train Mountain Railroad, I think about a year ago in, where are they located? Chiloquin, Oregon. I might be saying that wrong, but it is a really cool location. And they have trains. They have miniature trains you can actually sit in and ride around. And I talked to them recently, and they said last year they had like 150 Harvest Host members come and stay with them. So our members love trains too, I guess.
We got to look and see if White Mountain Railroad is a member. I think that parking lot is small in Conway, New Hampshire.
Well, one of my favorite hosts of all time is the Mount Washington Cog Railway. And they're a host. The experience is phenomenal. Their parking lot right there at the bottom, you literally park your RV and you look up at Mount Washington. You watch this cog going up and down. It's cool. And then you can drive 5 minutes to Mount Washington Hotel to get a drink.
Hey, we got a lot of questions here, Bob, and we only have a few.
They're right.
Quickly. So Eileen got her question to ask. Frank talked about the Railroaders Museum. Audrey likes your blogs. Jerry said early June will be busy once people. You know what? We've done special shows on this, working from your RV, and if people are free to go, if they're free to move about the country, then they will be able to do that.
Well, now that because let's face it, there's a lot of people that, number one, never had that option. Number two, didn't even realize they could do it, and their companies are setting them up. They're getting all the equipment. And now it's a natural conversation to say, why can't we do this in our RV? Which, of course, you can. Tom Zabrowski.
That's interesting.
Hi, Bob, John, and Joel.
Tell me about yacht clubs.
He's a commodore of a yacht club up there in New York. He's been the former president of the Northeast region of FMCA. Joel, you were going to contact me about yacht clubs. Please call me sometimes. Hey, Tom. How about if you pick up the phone and call Joel?
But I feel like I thought I sent you an email because, and maybe I dropped the ball. I love the idea of bringing marinas on board, and we have started to. We have a couple of marinas that have joined because marinas, I think, are very similar to golf courses. A lot of parking space, and most of them have restaurants that you can, go and support. And so we do have a recruiter, a guy who is recruiting marinas for us. I'm paying him $100 for every marina that he brings on board, and it's been good. So that's an open offer to anybody who wants to help us bring on any type of host. We pay $100 for every host that you help us recruit. We pay $250 for Jack Daniels.
Oh, okay. I'll get you Jack Daniels then.
Yeah, he'll drive. He'll walk.
I'll call Jack personally on that one.
Eileen is from New Hampshire. She's not from New York. Ha ha ha! The Yankees need more love.
And
Red Sox have had their run.
And she's a Yankee fan in New Hampshire. She probably doesn't have many baseball fans up there, but we're glad you're local. Have you ever been to the Boston show, Eileen? I'm just curious. The Boston RV show in January.
We do not golf, but all the way to the club restaurant.
Oh yeah, Swenson trying to get back on our good side. No, where was it?
I told him to book him for free membership.
Huh?
I said before he was brown nosing Joel for a free membership. He said no, he just bought theirs 3 months ago.
Good.
Oh, thank you very much.
YouTubers, but not realize there would be one for me to use. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, Eileen. You can make, Eileen, if you work it, you can make some money with it. And I know people that are making several $1,000s a month with referrals. And the people that I talked to said their checks come right on time.
And
unlike our check from the government, which every day my wife runs out to the mailbox to see, did we get our check yet? No, we didn't.
John, check your bank account. It goes directly into your bank account.
Bob, you know what we haven't checked in a long time? The clock.
Holy, oh my God. Holy, jeez.
Well, Joel's in Colorado, so he's ready to go for 2 more hours.
I mean, sun's out. I haven't even had dinner yet. No, we're good to go. But the question I want to ask Bob, because you love Jack Daniels so much, if I blind tasted you with Woodford Reserve Distiller Select and something else, like any number of great bourbons, do you think you'd still pick Jack Daniels every time?
Absolutely. Every time somebody tries that test at a bar or at my house, they say, that's impossible. You can't tell it. I can tell it from the color. I can tell it from the taste.
All right. Fair enough.
And I am a Tennessee Squire. And you probably don't know what a Tennessee Squire is. That's a private club that we have at Jack Daniels for people who respect it, not get drunk. I've never been drunk. So it's respecting it, and it's a great. We'll talk about that sometime. It is an absolutely great marketing story. Michelle wants to finish up. Says, Joel, I have to say I'm very impressed with how you've taken Harvest Host and run with it. And to think we shared dinner at the Palace in Prescott before you took Harvest Host to another level. Eileen does not golf. Eileen says, sort of feeling like you're in an exclusive club, enjoying all the benefits for nothing, right?
That's pretty much it.
Michelle, Eileen sort of, I don't know. Michelle said that to Eileen. Oh, maybe she means with the Yankees. I don't know. And Quiet at Night. Yeah, we can't get there, but we'll go back through it. I mean, this is amazing. This is probably going to break a record for the number of comments, Joel. So What we'll do, all right, so join Harvest Host. You get 15% off. Use the code NERVDO. We'll put that down below. If you have recommendations for a host facility, we'll do that. And if you want to stay, as a closing tribute to all of you, I am actually going to try to do the video as we close. We're going to close out, and then I'm going to run the video. So you can either run to the other side of the house, or you can stay and see if this thing is going to work. So yes, John and Joel, I'll give you the last words.
Before you do that, remember, join us again Saturday night. We've got another great show coming up Saturday night. We're going to continue our conversation about the plight of full-timers, and we're going to be talking to some people from around the country, and we'll probably use a different format so we can actually use and show you the videos that we've been compiling for the last 6 weeks. Because I know that I don't know.
It would be good if we could actually figure out. Joel, any last words that you want to say to our fans? And I think our fans are your fans. They love the show.
Well, I mean, I think that you said it best. We love the RV community, and I think we're all in this together. So I'm just excited to get back on the road, and as soon as we can travel, we're going to travel. We're going to go to every RV event that we can, and I hope to meet some of you guys in person.
You planning on coming out east?
Yeah, I mean, we had all kinds of plans. We were going to be at the Winnebago rally presenting. Unfortunately, can't do that now. We had some East Coast stuff set up. We were going to go to the Masters this year, but the answer is yes. I just don't know when.
Yeah, we don't either.
Are you planning on going to the Grand Design Rally?
I would love to. Yeah, I would absolutely love to.
I'll talk to Tommy afterwards. It's in September at the Elkhart Fairgrounds. Do that. All right. Good night, everyone.
Okay, let's get that chicken going.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna get the. Let's see if I can get them going while I gotta kill our microphones.
You're gonna kill the audience.
Harvest Host is more than just overnight stays.
It's a group of wineries and farms all across North America that invites RVers to visit and stay for free. It's an opportunity to connect.
To a way of life.
To people.
To nature in a whole new way.
It's an exploration of how things are made, grown, and brought to you.
And this is actually from that vineyard you can see out the door on the far hill.
It's a friendly face after a long day's drive.
Hi, welcome to DK Cellars. Thanks. A little wine tasting today? Of course.
Absolutely. It's creating moments of interaction and unexpected experiences.
You experience what we experience here every day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers.
You guys are also awesome.
Cheers. It's forging new friendships.
Back your car.
Yeah, everyone's family at 5
It's changing the way we travel, and it's a new way to camp that hasn't existed before.
The farms become hosts to introduce you to their way of life.
Wash arms, that's yours. 25. Do you want to see?
They're very proud of what they do and what they produce.
You can join in if you want, but it's not expected, and it's really about the opportunity to share and enjoy the fruits of their labor.
Who's hungry? No? Nobody?
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
When you're parked, the only real rules are to be considerate, support your hosts, and enjoy your stay.
With hundreds of listings across North America, it's hundreds of opportunities for unique experiences, no matter where the road takes you.